Yeah. No, my dad never taught me how to fucking fix things. He was also like he taught me how to cook, and he taught me a lot of other stuff.
That's probably part of why you feel so effortlessly proficient with these things.
Yeah, but not building shit.
He taught you how to make your wiener hard, from what I understand.
Yeah, I mean, he also showed me that my dick and his dick will be forever aligned in this world. It's because, I mean, that's, I talk about it on stage. Okay. Hey, guys. Hey, welcome. Hey, yeah. Welcome back.
Erections.
Welcome fucking back to the Lazy Eye podcast, which is like a fucking eclipse. Like, it happens like 3 times a year, and a few people get blinded from it. Because we're very hot, we're very hot here, yeah.
Yes.
We're new setup, new room. That's why it took 9 months for the next episode of The Lazy Eye to come out, as I was remodeling for 9 months.
Paris had to cut a piece of wood.
Yeah.
And it took 9 months.
Took 9 fucking months. That's how useless I am. I made this table all by myself.
I switched these boards in the...
Hey, I make the table nice. But yeah, so Italian penises. Yeah, I've done a bit about.
Have you seen your dad's penis
so
in
much
action though?
Not.
That's a hard one to. That's like catching the Sasquatch. It's not. You might only see, if you see it, it'll be blurry. It's like Japanese porn. Yeah.
No, I don't want to see my dad fuck. I got to hear my mom fuck.
That's not what I meant though. I just meant like just fully erect without application. Fully erect out of context. Something like that. That's what I meant by inaction, but I can see.
No, I've seen it fluffed after he woke up and probably was hard, like morning wood.
Oh yeah, okay.
So I've seen it.
That's pretty.
So I've seen it fluffed. Because here's the thing: my dad's Italian, so he sleeps naked and he walks around the house naked.
Oh, my dad was the same.
Yeah,
not Italian.
Wow.
He was a traumatized Catholic who was trying to prove a point.
By marrying a Jewish girl. I see.
Yeah.
Also,
and walking around naked in front of his kids. He was like, you can't stop me, sister.
You never told me that you were not a proper Jew, because your dad both your parents need to be Jewish, right?
No. If your mother's Jewish, then that's it.
Oh, if your dad's Jewish and your mom's not, then you're in.
Yeah, then you're not Jewish at all, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ain't that great?
I love it. It's so snotty.
It's the only time that the man gets discounted.
Yeah.
In all these religious cultures.
Yeah. And you want to know what that's from? Is that women back in the kingdom of Judah, the Romans were raping so many Jewish women that they had to just figure out a way to like confirm that this is a Jewish kid. Well, I actually have this bit that I wanted to do about rape, which is that...
You want to do a bit about rape? How come?
I don't know. It's just like something I've never been through, so I want to joke about it. It's just so foreign to me. But actually, maybe we talk about the bit later. Or never.
Yeah.
Because I want to do it on stage.
Yeah, and then you'll burn it on the biggest platform there is.
Yeah, I would want to burn it to your million subscribers.
To all my subscribers. New room, new life, new rape jokes. I mean, I feel like I finally have the room that someone that would like finger you in your sleep has. It's that kind of vibe.
Yes, it looks like a photographer's studio.
Fuck, that's so sleazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the worst.
Right?
It's like every case of like modern schemes of molestation. There's like, don't go to this photographer. It's like they really figured it out.
Yeah.
They're like, you need headshots? I need head. Right.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you look really beautiful right now. You know what would be really sexy? I just want to take your photo and make you feel I'm gonna make you feel like a model. And like,
yeah, what if your blouse kind of slipped off? Yeah, they get to like fucking direct their own fucking sleazy porn or kind of. Yeah, it's weird because it's also like all these like young hot women that are trying to actually like get a portfolio, and then they have to go to all these fucking like semi-professional underbelly of the fucking industry guys, and they're like half of them are fucking creeps. It's so
Yeah. Well, when I was 18, I had an internship with a photographer. I only did 1 day of work. So what we did was, this was because
a 1 day internship, the world famous
1 day internship, because he worked with like Vogue models, right? So it was a fashion shoot with with these two models, and I like walked around helping carry stuff and like, you know, set the light box, or I don't know, remember.
Yeah.
I don't know, remember. But after the shoot, I was at his apartment, like putting things away, and he was like, you know, you're really beautiful. I'd love to take some photos of you. And so he started taking some photos of me, and I had low self-esteem, so it meant the world to me that anyone would try to make me feel like a model, especially after I'd been around that 13, that goddamn like. She was like a 5'10", 13 Vogue model. I'm talking on the scale of 1 to 10. She was a 13.
Oh, I thought you were calling a 13-year-old so hot that you lost your confidence. She's 13. How can I compare to a 13-year-old? That's like,
I'll never look this good.
It's like the same level of confidence you'd have on Epstein's Island. It's like, after I saw this hot 12-year-old, it's like, I feel worthless now.
I can't compete. Yeah,
I can't compete. No, but I know what you mean. Is like being in an environment of like, oh, this fucking like, yeah, this 10 from a country I haven't even heard of with eyebrows that look like a peninsula. Was here, and then he thinks I'm hot and wants to take pictures of me. It's like,
Yeah, like I needed the validation desperately. She did also have an accent, just to the fucking cherry on top of the beautiful sundae, ice cream sundae. But then he started asking me to reveal more clothing. He was like, you know, what would be really sexy is if you took off the shirt but kept on the suspenders, and he got me basically naked.
Yeah.
And he took the sluttiest photos of me, and then he posted them on my Facebook, and I was so embarrassed because my cousin saw them. I asked him to take them down, and in retrospect, it was a very violating experience.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really glad I got out of there untouched, but he just manipulated me into getting naked. I was 18.
I know. And also those people are like so desensitized to it that like sometimes it's also like they don't even take it into account. Like, I don't know this guy, but it's also like I've been around a lot of people that do like photography and video art that most of it is new, and it's like after a day on set you get so desensitized.
Really? Why?
Because nudity only has an effect when you're around a bunch of clothed people in society.
Absolutely.
The moment you start like either being like on a beach in Greece in the summer where we're all naked.
Do people get naked on the beach in Greece?
I mean, everywhere I go. Yeah, because meaning like
you bring the naked wherever you go.
No, it's like, it used to be way
You're
bigger.
the patron saint of nudity.
Yeah, if I go there, it turns into a naked beach. It wasn't.
I can imagine it's like parting the Red Sea. It's like you walk onto a beach and everybody's clothes fall off.
Yeah, it wasn't a nudist beach when I got there, but it was a nudist beach by the time I left. Inspirational TikToks. No, but it's like, you know, my dad's Italian, and like Greece in the fucking 90s, everyone was naked. So it was also like, as a kid, like we would go and camp on the beach for a month and just be naked for a month. So it's like from when I grew up, I had this kind of like being naked on the beach is like such a feeling of like freedom and summer and release that like then I had my phase of my child phase where like I didn't want to reveal my tiny penis after you get a bit insecure.
I know what you mean. I was the same with my tiny penis.
Yeah, I know. No, you're proud of it.
Mine was even smaller than yours. Like you couldn't see it at all.
Couldn't see it at all. Fucking yeah.
It's humiliating.
I know.
Good thing I had a massive bush by the age of 4.
Fuck yeah.
And I could just be like, it's in there somewhere.
It's in there. You'll find it if you look.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then after like from 18 on, then I just started like looking for that again, to like be in a beach where it's a little bit calmer. You go in the corner, you're naked. I mean, there's certain types of season where the beaches are so crowded that you cannot really do that very comfortably, like when all the family, like you can't, even at the island that I go, which is a little bit more on the down low, still they're like, but half of the beaches on the island are kind of nudist free camping beaches, so it's like it still happens quite a bit.
I don't think that we should ever wear bathing suits.
It's
like
very,
if swimming is the activity, you should just be naked. And you know what's crazy is that, so I was just at my gym and the women's sauna is broken. So there's like the mixed sauna. Women, I don't think women go in there unless the women's sauna is broken.
Unless you like today, really need a sauna. Like it's like it's an emergency.
Unless it's an emergency. But today there were a bunch of women in there and we were mixing with the men. And the men were all just like, oh my God, I saw you working out. You know, it was very like, it was a different vibe from Baaaaaack because it really doesn't happen often at my gym that women will go there. But I really thought to myself, like, everybody is so well behaved with the nudity.
Yeah.
And in the US, even when you go into hippie, like spas where people are naked, it's like no one can fucking handle themselves because they're so giddy and like, we're never naked. This is so far out.
I hate it. It's like every time I also like consume so much like American people talking just from podcasts and that's like, but it's like that's the one part that like annoys the living shit out of me, is like how insane nudity is to Americans, and it's on both sides. It's on sides of being more conservative where it's like an insane thing, and then even on the leftist, anarchist, hippie side, it's like, I cannot believe we're like doing this. Isn't it so, like it has to be addressed every 5 minutes?
Right.
In this way of like, in a positive way, but it's like if you keep addressing, like, doesn't this shirt look great? You can, like, I can't believe I'm wearing this. It's like, shut up about it. Who gives a fuck? It's like, yeah, we said it's nice. Now let's just do the thing.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, that's the thing that bugs me. It's also like this kind of like culture of like, oh my God, do you believe we're actually doing this? Like, isn't this like a big? It's like you just took a shirt off.
So bad.
Yeah, it's like
we're such free spirits and we're so bad.
We're so liberated from like the fucking patriarchal society. It's like, no, you just took your fucking panties off. Shut up and enjoy the steam. Like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, just like, I mean, when you're at a place like Baaaaaack or any of these like mixed naked European places, you realize how not a big deal it is to be naked. Yeah. It really is just like, oh yeah, this is what everybody's body looks like.
Yeah.
This is just, that's all it is. It's your body.
It's also like the way to get desensitized to it is to be actually part of it, and then like, because that's also what I mean by like when you were saying about like the guy posting them of like, that's fucking sleazy, but there's also like a big part of that, like he takes pictures of like fucking 30 people a day. Like, you're like, whenever I'm also like in shoot, I've also been naked so much in shoots, just like everyone, like whenever someone wants someone to do something weird naked, they just say like Paris will probably do it. Like, he don't give a fuck.
Is there a demand for weird naked
yeah, you know, like
activity?
You know, people that don't have a budget and want to do artsy avant-garde stuff, they can ask people they don't know that comfortably to expose themselves that much. Mm-hmm. So all those people are like, so let's do the nice things with the actors, and then for the creepy naked part, we'll just get Paris. He doesn't give a fuck.
We'll just go up to the attic and get Paris. He's been scratching around for a while.
Yeah. We'll probably find him already naked. It'll be easy. Just drag him down.
Crouching in a corner.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like if
his fingernails and toenails grown out.
No, but I don't know. I think once you do it like once and you're like naked in front of like a full crew, it's like it's so nothing and so comfortable. If you're comfortable with it, then it becomes like I don't know. It's not a big deal to me at all.
But you know what's crazy is that in different cultural contexts, like you feel different about nudity too. So like here, I'm fully comfortable pretty much just being naked everywhere. Like I wouldn't be naked. I wouldn't want to do it on the street because I wouldn't feel safe. But
I wouldn't want to do it on any culture street, to be fair.
Okay, to be fair. But when I was in the Middle East, I spent I spent like a few months living in this house of expats. Like the end of my first year when I was in Jordan, and the girls were all Western. Everybody's Western in that house, and the girls would walk around in like bras and underwear. And I never would have thought about that here. But because we were there and I had spent so many months
That's fair.
just being sort of reprogrammed into like cultural beliefs will be absorbed by osmosis. Like you don't even need people to necessarily explicitly say this is what we believe. You're picking up on it from all these cues. You're picking up you're being trained based on how people treat you.
That's very fair.
So like I felt I was, everywhere I went, I'd cover up absolutely everything except my head, but you couldn't see any skin. Nothing was, everything was super loose, nothing form fitting. I wore like long, big skirts. And then I'd go into this house and I would be like, you're naked? Like I was like, oh, this is lewd behavior. Oh dear. It was like in the 1800s when a woman would show her ankle where everybody would be like, slut. And
I mean, that's absolutely fair. It's also like, babes, trust me, if I go to the Middle East, this bitch is dressing very differently.
Yeah.
It's like, because also like all these like fucking Beverly Hills girls that go to like Dubai, like Abu Dhabi, and just wear the miniskirt and all that stuff. It's like do whatever you want, but it's also like, I'm not gonna go there and wear all my pink shit and my pearls in fucking walking around Egypt and Morocco, whatever the fuck I go, because it's also like, yeah, it sucks that things are a certain way, but also like, I don't know, I grew up in also like a shitty, violent environment at times. It's like, you gotta read the fucking room.
Yeah, definitely
it's like,
read the room.
It's not about like,
I mean, you'd be torn to bits.
Yeah.
And you pick up on that immediately.
Yeah.
So it's just instinctive.
Yeah, it's like the instinct of also like of survival, acclimation, and also just like, don't you want to feel safe more than you want to make a statement to your two white girls? Like, who gives a fuck? Like, if you're visiting a place and they tell me like, if you do this, it's disrespectful. If you do that, it's dangerous. And if you do this, it's very polite and respectful. It's like, yeah, I'm going to do the polite and respectful. Even it depends on like how. It's also like, if I'm not willing to do that, I'd rather not go there.
Yeah.
Meaning like, if you
exactly.
if you decide to go there, there is also like a part of like, isn't it also a bit your responsibility to understand where you're going?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want things to be like that either, but I'm not going to walk dick first, slap it on the bar and be like, I don't agree with you, so I'm gonna do it like this. It's like, yeah, you're gonna get murdered, good luck with that. Have fun. Yeah. That's how things are. That's why I live in Berlin and not in Damascus.
Well, and that's the I mean, it's just so interesting how like we are actually really, really wired to what's going on around us on a level that is so it's so it's not conscious, but it's like our brain's figuring it out, and it's like, you got to do this, quick, do this, and like when I go back to the U.S. and I'm conditioned to be so naked here, I go back to the U.S. and then like I was with my friend Max, and he and I dropped acid at Bodensee 2 years ago. We just sat in the lake for 10 hours in the exact same spot, and we were like, whoa, there's mountains and the moon at the same time, and we're in the lake. Like, we don't need to move because it's all right in front of us, But when we were there, because it was in Germany, My friend Max is American, but he spends a shit ton of time in France. But I just was getting naked in front of him because I was just like, we're in Germany. I do whatever I want. This is my world, you know? But then I was just visiting him in New York. And I was like, don't look at me. We're in America and it's inappropriate. Like,
don't look at my bosom.
Even though he see me naked.
Yeah.
It was just like, I instinctively had this feeling of like, it's different here.
It's also funny how like the temporal acceptance of nakedness of like there's people you fucked and then like a few like years later you're also just kind of like you forget that person was like eating you out for 2 hours and now you're like it's this I love like sometimes there's these like social contracts and all these things that change and you're like oh shit I've seen the inside of you like like this shouldn't be an issue.
I put my genitals inside your genitals or inside your skull and now I don't want you to see me naked.
I feel like the only people I don't want them to see me naked is people I really want to fuck and they haven't seen my dick hard and now I don't want them to see me in my sud puppy phase.
Yeah.
I think everyone else I couldn't give a fuck. Yeah. But it's like if I really want to hook up with you, then I don't want the first time
you see your dick
see my
to
dick
be shrunken,
that it's like a shrunken little Italian little like hey what you do what's up hey, what's going on so that's I think my only objection to nudity is that the rest is like if I don't want to hook up with you literally like you can see inside my asshole and I couldn't really care. It's like
yeah, but that's such a good point about the flaccid penis being the preview of the regular penis. I mean, I think though, like women know, like sexual women, like we know that it's gonna transform, but we don't know to what extent.
Right, because also the thing with like uncircumcised dicks is that like. They look really nice if they're the nice ones when they're hard.
Yeah, they look perfect.
They look really nice. They're like smooth. Yeah. They're very like they look healthier. They
so much healthier.
They also don't look like
they've been in a vegetable crisper.
You know? Like they don't look like they're sanded and fucking mushroomy. Like they're very nice.
Exactly, I completely agree. I think that circumcised penises are just a wreck. What a wreck.
But they're nicer soft.
But who cares?
Exactly.
It's like that's the time when I'm not interested in it.
That's the time where it's your dick is doing nothing, literally. Yeah, exactly. It's just when that's the only reason why like
when it wants to look its best.
Yeah. It's
when I'd prefer to look my best when I'm just lying here.
There's just a part of like
around.
You know most people when they see you naked in my life most people see me naked when I'm in comfort mode and not in horny mode.
Yeah.
So it's like
same, I guess.
Yeah, so it's like sometimes I'm like yeah, it's like my comfort mode is not as aesthetically pleasing as my horny mode. So it's like if I'm playing if I'm planning on something here, I'd rather you don't see me naked before it gets to the point of like, yeah, we're going. So that's my only. The rest, I'm like fucking take a peek. I don't care.
I think that's super reasonable. It would be a good reason to not go to Bali on a first date. I did that once accidentally. It was the only time I could see the guy before he was leaving the country. Oh, no. And I was like, I need to go to Bali. If you want this to happen, you can come with me. Otherwise, I'll see you when I see you. And he went, and it was it was a cute date, but then there were cringy moments because we were too naked too fast, you know? And neither of us were really...
That's also a problem because...
I think nobody could handle that being naked that fast kind of thing. It's too much.
I really don't like it because also it's like you don't want to be first date plus naked plus horny.
Yeah.
Like you have to play it cool.
Yeah, you have to play cool in the first date. Exactly.
Or it's like fully we're very physically attracted to each other and this is like a hot thing and we're gonna find our own corner and it's gonna be like one of those kind of like playing with each other.
We're gonna ruin that corner for everyone.
Yeah, like if you play it like a sex sauna steamy date, like that can work.
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of confidence of like being in a public place,
Yeah.
not knowing the person very well, being instantly naked, plus all that energy.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's too much. So then, like, most times what will happen is, like, you'll have a regular date, but now you're naked, and then you kind of have to play it cool. You don't want to be a fucking naked pervert on a first date around other people. So you have to play it cool.
But you also maybe want to try to make a move because maybe that would be kind of
Because maybe that would be so hard, but there's so much pressure.
Yeah.
Because making a move on a clothed woman is pressure enough.
Yeah.
Making a move while you're naked onto a naked woman, if it's not an insanely obvious moment, that's fucking cause for a lot of problems.
Yeah.
That's a potential, like...
No, that is 100%. Like,
The stakes are too high.
You distilled exactly what it was like. And it's a shame because maybe he and I could have, like, actually had
a drink with your
real
clothes
connection.
on, and then...
Yeah, I was really determined to schwitz.
Yeah.
I needed to take a schwitz.
Yeah.
Like, I'd been waiting literally months, and this guy got in touch with me. He was in town. He was like, I can only hang out with you on this one day. I'd really like to go out with you. And I was like, okay, well, I've been waiting months to go to the sauna, and that was the day I wanted to go. So you can come or don't see me. Like, this is
also on his,
take it or
from
leave it.
his perspective, like, okay, we're finally gonna go out, and she's insisting that we go to the
naked.
to the naked
Insisting we be
sauna.
naked
Like,
for
the
it.
fucking amount of mixed signals.
Yeah.
Poor bit.
And I told him that I don't have casual sex, but I was naked when I said it, right?
Yeah,
So-
it's like, I don't have casual sex, I don't have one night stands. I really am all about, like, meeting the person and hanging out, and then
But I have my tits out
five
as I'm
minutes.
saying this.
5 minutes into the date, pussy lips spread, titties out. Like, I'm really enjoying this theme.
Yeah.
Makes my nipples hard.
By the way, I don't fuck on the first. I don't have casual sex. I'm a quality woman with conservative values. Traditional. I'm not conservative.
Conservative values, yeah.
That's a terrible.
That's a terrible way to phrase that.
Yeah, it's a terrible way to phrase that. I'm not your grandma. But I could be. If you just put me in Paris's best outfit, best Sunday clothes, and I'm there.
That's true. I mean, most of my outfits will make you look 20 years older. They somehow make me look like a year younger, but would make most other people
But
look.
it's because you have this. I don't know what it is about you, but you really do seem very
Gay?
old.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean you seem gay, but
But that's a
but
given.
there's nothing gay about you.
No, I've
It's
been.
just your aesthetic.
I love that you pick up on that, because it's like, all my friends that know me for years, like in Greece, they always called me like an old man or an old lady, because I always had this, like, on top of my insane youthful endeavors, I'm also such a fucking, like, give me a fucking chair with a nice view, and I can sit there and have homemade schnapps for 10 hours while saying nothing. Like, I love everything old people do. I love.
That's the thing is, I think that what you are, because I know that you're queer, but I think that what you are is that you're an old lady man stuck in the body of a young man.
Oh, fully.
Like, I think you're just an elderly person stuck in the body of a young man.
100%. I mean, all the things I really enjoy, because I enjoy doing what an old man does and what an old lady does. Like, I want to be both people. Like, I love taking care of, like, the house and cooking meals and, like, making little homemade things that will be ready in a month, and we see, like, try things out. Saw something in the paper. We'll give it a shot.
Falling asleep.
Yeah, I love I love a silly
stories.
like silly sitcom running while preparing something, then a thing, and then I love just, like, sitting and enjoying the fruits of that labor, and then maybe, like, you know, looking out into something. Just know, it's very nice.
Yes, and it's great to have some. No, I got too many ideas at once.
It's okay, baby. We can.
I was gonna say, and you love your slaves, and they love you.
I treat them so nice.
And you know they're better off like this because at least you care about them.
I know all their
They're
first
treated
names.
so well.
Yeah.
Yes, you're like Tom Cruise. You're the Tom Cruise of slave owners. Like you go up to each slave and you already know and you learn their name first day on the job.
I love Tom Cruise is like the Queen, where he has like someone on his ear. It's like his name's Tom. He's like he probably has a fucking earpiece. And it's like Tom. He does lights. It's like, hey Tom, what's up, baby? We're gonna rock this film or what?
I think the thing is that he's so intense that I think he actually just does it. He just goes.
I miss all.
And then he puts it all in there.
Yeah, I miss
he might
vintage
do flashcards.
But I miss like vintage cult Tom Cruise.
He's still like that.
Yeah, but it's like he's now so established in Scientology, and he's their only one like proper celebrity. And when the administration changed, he like became the fucking like he's in charge of shit. Whereas like young Tom Cruise was still enamored with Scientology in a way. It was before it became like such a solidified enterprise, which he's like a fucking like mastermind of. And he was like still enamored with it. And he would like remember when he went on was it Oprah or Ellen, where he did the dance and he was like literally like cult 101 behavior, where he was jumping on the couch.
I remember him jumping on the couch because he was so in love with
Katie
supposedly.
Yeah, it's
allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's true.
He also backed like sweet, nice women like Nicole Kidman, like Katie Holmes. Like they weren't like.
But they were both like really trapped by him.
Yeah,
I mean, it's such a sad thing because I really like him, but he's like done like the cult stuff is really dark. But he's apparently just such a doll to work with.
Yeah.
And he does his own stunts, Paris.
I love that.
He climbed the Burj Khalifa and hurt his wrist.
Yeah, he destroyed. Do you see the video of him jumping from roof to roof, where his entire like foot went the other way, and he broke all the ligaments, every ligament.
Oh my god, he's such a hero.
And he kept running after that. They have the footage of him doing it.
Yeah.
There's a camera that shows his leg literally contorting the entire other way. And then he gets up on the ledge and keeps running to not ruin the shot.
Shit. He's
the best.
Disciplined.
And honestly,
he is the best.
He's the best.
I feel like he actually did go clear, and this is what going clear means.
Honestly, Tom Cruise is the best example.
Like he has sort of he's just gone beyond limitation, probably insofar as human beings can. Like he pushes himself to the very limit of human potential.
That man strapped himself on the side of an airplane, and the airplane took off.
Yeah. And
listen, Scientology is working.
To do it, and he got and he everybody in America saw it and thought he was a badass for it. So he got that's a triple.
No, he's the best example that Scientology works.
Yeah, and, I know.
And I'll say this: the things that came to his partners because of Scientology don't even crack the top 100 of problematic things that Scientology has done to people.
Yeah.
So it's also like, for their standards, they were actually nice to Nicole and Katie because it's Tom. Like, they were kind of like...
Right.
Like, they had this thing because everyone else that was...
special.
Everyone else that was against or even was in Scientology was trying to get out, got a treatment like fucking no other.
Well, they got, like, chained to, like, mattresses to have their babies in...
It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the
But Tommy Boy...
church.
Tommy Boy's fucking killing it.
Yeah. I'm just like... I think the thing is like, when people... There's plenty of people who are like, ugh, Tom Cruise. And it's because of the Scientology thing. And it's like, yeah, but like, isn't there just a part of you that is absolutely in awe of him? And that's I feel like this is kind of this is like the crux of of culture wars often. At least there's the crux of the comedians versus the militantly woke people, where it's like, we're like, yes, of course, the ethical thing, but also, what about the part that's just like going for it also. That's Tom Cruise. You're just enamored. You're like, how can I not acknowledge
How can you not acknowledge that, man?
how amazing
also,
he is?
He's in a position where he could not do anything, only rape, and make more money than he is right now if he wanted to.
Absolutely.
Right? Like,
Yes, that's true.
most Hollywood actors that reached half of Tom Cruise's popularity and fame did way worse things without Scientology, just on their own accord.
Yeah.
And
Right, without an entire massive
I mean, the stories of
corporate cult backing you up to provide you with whatever you want, whenever you want.
I mean, all the stories I've heard about Leonardo DiCaprio fucking are way worse than Tom Cruise.
I've never heard any stories of him.
I've heard some
fucking.
direct. I've met a person that fucked him.
Oh, you know what though? I do know about that time when he was much younger and he was on the Titanic, but he fell in love with this woman, and they fucked in a car in the. Do you know this story?
No.
They fucked in a car in the like steerage where you have the. Did you not see Titanic?
I saw it.
You know that scene?
Yeah.
And then they get the handprint, and it was just very lascivious behavior.
Oh, it's a scene from the film.
It was the scandal of the century. It is.
Oh yeah, there was the car scene. I did.
Yeah, the car scene with the,
I'm sorry, you were doing.
hand.
Yeah, you were doing a bit, and I.
Sorry. Yeah.
I saw that movie and I forgot half of it because I had no interest.
Ugh, you are so not a woman trapped in a man's body because.
I hate that film.
We rewatch it. It's seminal. We rewatch it on a very semi-regular basis. We all come in our pants a million times for
but
it.
I do
My
watch.
My heart will come on. Like that's our.
Okay, but in my defense, I have in rotation, Notting Hill, 4 Weddings and a Funeral, Bridget Jones' Diary.
These are all super bad. Notting Hill's okay.
Notting Hill's great.
4 Weddings and a Funeral sucks.
Amazing.
No, it's terrible.
No, actually, I rewatched it recently because it was one of a.
And you agree that's
like,
bad?
Yeah, like it was like one of my favorite films when I was like an early teen that I watched with my mom, and I loved it. And I watched it recently, and I was like, oh, this is like actually a bad film.
Yeah, yeah, it's not good.
I used to think it was like fucking hilarious and amazing and romantic, and then I was like, oh, it's a piece of trash.
Yeah, you know, Hugh Grant. I like Hugh Grant so much.
I love him.
He's so charming.
So charming.
And he's another one that people will be like, but he cheated on Elizabeth Hurley. And I'm like, yeah, but he's irresistible.
He's irresistible. I mean, he's one of the people that wouldn't like to see me naked if I'm not in peak condition, you know?
Yeah.
Can't have that man.
Same.
Can't have that man seeing me flaccid.
Yeah, me too.
Even now in his fucking 60s, he's still a fucking... Now he's even more charming because he's past his prime and he so doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Where he's only very demeaning on him being a horrible actor. Like every interview is like, I watched it, I'm horrible in it. I don't know why people still want me to act. This is bad. Look at me now. Like, he's just kind of like, it's like he can't help but still want to lick him all over.
He's very self-deprecating.
Yeah.
And he's also surprisingly self-aware.
Yeah.
Like, he really has like when you listen to him talk about what it's like to be famous, you're like, wow, this is like a very thoughtful, real.
No, he's always been very, very real. When he was young, he played that kind of like leading in a lead in a romantic film. So even in his interviews and he kind of had this little bubbly like thing, but that lasted for a little while. And then like you see interviews and he's like, oh, that's fucking like my friend. If they put him on the spot, like he's so genuine that it's like it's very irresistible.
Yeah.
For someone in that position to not kind of play no, he's like,
Right, he's not trying to sell himself.
Yeah, he's always like, nah, meh.
Yeah, he thinks
I like that.
He thinks he's kind of trash.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah, but 4 Weddings and a Funeral is pretty bad.
I love that we did our little celebrity segment of the Lazy Eye podcast. This is like entertainment for the homeless. Oh, and by the way, I should say this is a stolen T-shirt. And I will put it out there. That's why I'm wearing it, and I love it because there's this fucking place called House of Sweets that looks like
No, Paris. Now they can find you.
it's. Let them come. Let them come.
Let's
Let them come. Those fucking
do their
pedophiles.
worst.
They came to Berlin and built a colorful place that looks like a fucking like 10-year-old American child had a business in Berlin. Like it's literally like they have these like candy bars and shit that was never around in any of these countries that you're around. And they've just filled that place with shit that we have no idea about.
I'd like to go there with you someday.
Yeah.
In your shirt.
Oh yeah, I'll wear the shirt there. And I'll be like, no, I bought this.
And I'll wear
I'm a big fan.
I'll wear a little pink dress
Yeah.
and pigtails.
Yeah. We'll get one of the
And we'll rock
we'll get
their
one,
worlds.
Oh, we'll get one of the employees to finger you behind the fucking behind the fucking cotton candy machine.
Right, and I'll make sure to wax my entire pussy
Oh, yeah.
so that it's very authentic pedophile experience.
Yeah. I would wax
the
only
closest that I can provide.
Yeah, I would wax only the
And
top.
I'll be like, I still got it.
I saw in this, it was in an art piece, but there was this girl that like it was a video art piece, but she was fully shaved in the front, meaning like the classic baby look. Mm-hmm. And then she turned around and there was like hair dangling from down, which means like she waxed the front and left everything in between, which is one of my favorite styles I've ever seen. It's like the equivalent of a mohawk for a vagina.
Yeah.
It's like looks like a baby, but then there's like dangling, like also from the back, like asshole through labia, just like a mohawk. It was very, very funny.
Was it attractive? Or did it ruin it?
I mean, when you just see, I don't care, but I also don't get like. It's not like you see a vagina or a dick and you're attracted. It normally comes with a. And in this video, you can see their heads, so it was just kind of like from the chest down. So it was.
What was it? Art?
It was.
Or was it comedy?
It was no. It was.
Those are
it was
different.
piss. It was piss art.
Piss art.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's just art with piss.
Okay, now I understand this look.
Yeah, I'm working on a bit about it. It's quite funny.
I think I joined a gym and I go like 3 or 4 times a week.
I'm excited to see where this goes.
And I'm always like checking out. Well, I see all these naked women all the time, and like they're not the Vabali women. It's like Vabali. It's every day is tiny waist, big tits day, or it's big fat ugly naked body day.
Yeah.
Big fat ugly body day. It's one or the other. It's either like the best bodies you've ever seen in your life that will make you feel like the ugliest, fattest body.
Yeah,
like,
it's even like
a
casting for Sephora or like empowerment day.
Yeah. old man empowerment day.
Yeah.
But anyway, so at the gym, it's like it's more versatile because you got some of the best bodies ever because they're people who take working out very seriously, and then there's all the people
like
who like
me,
just join the gym.
I can't skip a day,
Yeah.
I haven't skipped a day since middle school. That grind mentality.
That's that grind mentality.
Mm-hmm.
It's you're going clear, and
yeah,
that's
in my House of Sweets t-shirt. Yeah.
Anyway, one thing that I sometimes notice is like pubic hairstyles.
Yeah.
And I gotta say that almost all of them are bad. I don't think that there's a good solution to pubic hair. I think either just have it or don't have it. But then sometimes like with the having nothing, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
No, it's too.
And then with the having a little, it's like it's almost different women have their interpretation of how little is enough or like where it should start or what the shape should be, and you just see so many crazy things, and I'm just like these are all so aesthetically unpleasing. Like I just would rather you keep it as is, kind of.
Yeah, I think like really trying to groom and like that rarely work. I'll be very honest. I'm a big fan of the bush on top and cleaned up in the action-packed areas.
So are you talking about like the truly between the legs part? That's all cleaned up. But is it like completely hairless? And then just like little Hitler mustache on top, or what?
No, on top, like it can be like a full bush. But I've been with a lot of women that kind of have like the full bush treatment, and then they've kind of cleaned up the sort of like the inner workings.
Do you mean cleaned up, like just a bit of like Edward Scissorhands,
shaved,
like shaping,
trimmed, removed, like a kind of like.
But it's not like bald.
Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's in the middle.
I just don't understand how you can, in the front, keep it, but in the... I don't know. It's very confusing. It's
I honestly also wonder, because listen, I have to shave balls.
Do you?
That's the only thing I'll do, like once a month or a couple of months. Like I always keep the top a bit because I look ridiculous without the top. Yeah. Because I'm hairy all over.
Right.
So it's like whenever I shave like this, it literally looks like I have just pelvic cancer. Like it just looks like a white strip of like yeah. So I keep like a nice little trim, and then once in a while like I'll go for like a shave from shaft to balls, because otherwise it's like it's a lot, and then when people want to actually like do stuff with the entire sort of situation.
Oh, right. You're sexually adventurous. You need to have clean balls.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, like, I never do much. Like, I'll tug the balls. I'll move them around, like, you know, those, the stress relieving balls that you have that you know, they rotate. Like, I'll rotate them. Yeah. But, you know, crop rotation, a bit of crop rotation.
Like there. A villain.
Yeah. I'll rotate the balls.
What's my next move?
The cat in my other hand. But I don't like putting my mouth on the balls, and I don't like getting close to them at all, because they're just not erotic.
I can't even argue with that.
Yeah. So I think that pretty much when men do anything to that area, I'm always like, you don't really need to. Like,
yeah,
we're not. Your dick comes out far enough
that I don't have to interact with any of it.
That I don't really. Yeah, I don't. It's like I don't even notice male pubic hair, because even if your dick is big enough for me to want to put it in my mouth,
longer than your hair,
longer than the depth. Yeah.
If you have a bigger dick than the length of your hair,
it's gonna be longer than like the distance. Wait,
the front teeth to
the back of the throat. So what that just means is that I'm never really hitting the bait. I'm never getting into the pubic hair forest, you know? I'm just not...
Yeah, it's just I also date savages.
Yeah.
You're like a nice Jewish girl.
Hey, Jewish girls are supposed
can be nasty.
Actually,
they're supposed to be prudish, but some of them are nasty. Yeah. Yeah. You don't have the best track record, but
blowjobs.
Here's the thing.
I give very good ones. Though.
I shave balls, taint, and ass. I shave balls, taint, and ass.
What do people do with the taint? You kids.
Listen,
what's the news?
New generation. Here's the thing. I like the way it feels. It's like I like hair, but like ball and taint is like I like the way it feels shaved, because it's like it's fucking so smooth and silky.
But
it's
only
nice.
For a day, and then the next day it's like daddy stubble. You know, it's like your dad's 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, but the hair is sensitive. Not that thick and ratchet down there. It's a little bit thinner and softer.
Yeah, it is a little.
So it gets ratchet when it grows out, but in the first whole week, skin feels great still. So yeah, I like to keep that whole area clean, because, you know, 1 out of 3 people I hook up with, they like to travel. they like to buy they buy a ticket for the whole ride. They don't bail out in the middle of it and then just go like, I get what this is.
Are there women that want to eat your ass out voluntarily?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've never asked for that.
I've just never got, like, the only time I can imagine I've never done it,
Yeah.
And the only time I can imagine doing it is just if the other person really, really, really wanted it. And
Yeah.
I was just so incredibly into them that I was like, fuck it. I'll put anything of you in here, you know?
I mean, you really have to, I feel like you really have to like someone to eat their ass. If there, I've eaten a lot of like asses that I'm like, I don't care that much. But if it's a woman's ass, it just feels a bit nicer. Like a dude's ass.
Women have really cute little
Yeah.
assholes. They're
Yeah,
like
they
little
do.
Star,
Like little, yeah.
stars.
Yeah, I will say this. That's
Mostly
why
hairless on their own.
I have a very cute butt, and I do take care of it really nice. And that's why also I create this nice little smooth like landing strip of like if it's something you like to do, then I've created the perfect path for you.
It's like a baby's taint.
Yeah, I'll be
What
honest.
is a
Like
baby's
maybe like
taint?
three. They're not all women. So one woman and two like non-binary people have like just gone on their own very quickly, went straight for like taint and ass. I didn't ask. I didn't even lift or gesture. I was just in full chilling mood, and they went for it. So it's like I tend to it because you never know, and it's nice. It's I'll be honest, it's not like I enjoy any of those things more than an actual like old fashioned blowjob, but it's just I enjoy. Here's what
just an old fashioned dick in your mouth.
I'm honestly
so funny that people think. I think Bill Maher was like saying like something about the ass, where he was just like, there's a pussy down there, right? Like everybody's obsessed with the asshole. He's like, didn't you know that there's also
did no one tell you
pussy down there?
There's a self-lubricating wormhole you can use.
Yeah, that there's like the the fucking like mecca of holes to put your dick in is down there.
Yeah, it's like the people that like go and grab a Pepsi when there's like a bunch of cola. It's like, oh, you're a savage?
Yeah. There's a bunch of, there's nothing. There's Coke.
Yeah.
Miles.
I mean, I don't drink. I don't drink either.
Like, I'll take the Pepsi. Yeah. You fucking pervert.
Fucking pervert. I don't drink either because I'm a communist, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I just went for the analogy that you would relate to.
I don't either because I'm a health nut.
Yeah.
I'm like
just had a sausage that I fried for you.
Yeah.
Health nut. But yeah, so it's not that I enjoy those things more than I'm simple with pleasure. I'm not as much of a pervert as people assume I am. Hey, but
because you're so cool and young.
Yeah, I look like I do some nasty shit. Listen, I'll do crazy nasty shit, but I'll do them if you want to. It's like I don't require any of it. I like a little bit of like a play, like a sort of like situation or like a type of communication that's like that creates a nice little dynamic, and it might be like a power dynamic or a little like gestural thing. Like I like little fantasy notions or things like that get you in a mood. And in a pleasure sense, it's like a blowjob, and then like I'm fucking the happiest man ever. It's just that what I enjoy is if someone actually goes for all that shit, all that extra and all that going to places that it's not the I'm like, oh, this feels insane. It's that, oh, this person automatically did that to me because they're like, there's an extra feeling of like they want to consume all of me.
Yeah, that's right. They're ravenous.
Like the hot part is that like they like me and they want to do everything to me.
Yes, that's right.
It's the same like when you really like a guy and then he takes really his time with like your whole body and goes down. It's like you feel like, oh, he really wants to like take all of me in and give me pleasure. So it's more of like a mental, beautiful moment than it is like, I need all those things sensually.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Like, actually, I tend to feel like that about getting eaten out. Like, even when, truthfully, my favorite thing, I mean, I really like foreplay, and then I just really like getting fucked. And if a guy is really into, like, I dated a guy who wanted to eat me out all the fucking time.
Oh, I remember that guy. We might have talked about him in the previous podcast. I feel like that guy will.
Loser.
I feel like I feel like that guy's gonna come up in every podcast we ever do. Yeah. Remember when I dated the guy that wanted to eat my pussy for 3 hours? Yeah. Remember that, guys?
The thing is that like I think he was like quite good at it. But the thing is that I'm just so much more excited to get fucked.
Yeah.
That what was really nice about it was that I did just feel like fully physically accepted and like so fully physically desired that no part of me from snout to anus, I was just fully desired.
That's probably two of the worst words for a body part description of a.
People who like there's this series by Jubilee that I just discovered where they do a lot of like debates between one group and another group. Like they had a
you
fat
do look
people
like
and
a Jubilee
group.
Subscriber.
I don't subscribe to anything. I don't subscribe to stuff.
You do like you're like in their newsletter.
All right. Well, I am what I am, but I'm not that. But like there's an episode of like fat people versus skinny people.
Oh my god, that's great.
And they have like a very like just unfiltered discussion where the skinny people are like they'll ask questions of like, what do you think about this, and then like step forward, and so the people who agree with the statement step forward, the people who disagree later step forward to say their piece. And so the skinny people are like there's one girl and she's just like, I just think that being fat is really bad for you and it's disgusting and everybody should try to be as skinny as possible.
I love her.
And then there's a fat woman, there's like a bunch of fat people there, and then there's a fat guy who's like, I agree with you, I don't want to be like this. And he's like, I'm trying my best and I really do agree, my knees hurt all the time. So and then there's another woman who's like, I have a disability and I can't. Like, there's no way for me to.
And then one girl that's saying, I'm beautiful.
Yes, 100. They had those three. They had those three. And then they had a skinny guy who like was manorexic, and he was like, I'm always trying to gain weight, but I can't.
And the three fat people are like,
and he's like fucking gorgeous, unbelievably good looking, and he's like, I don't, or something about, there's like one question about body shaming, and he's like, I don't think it's fair to body shame skinny people either, because not all of us want to be this skinny. And then he blew away,
I love
but it's great.
I love being the guy amongst fat people that goes, I've been bullied for my body and the way I look. I've been trying to get away. There's fucking three people weighing 300 pounds next to you. And you're like, you don't understand what I have to go through. And he's fucking chiseled. It's like, that's a great position to take. Yeah. That's great.
Well, in the end, like, it was like...
It's like a girl...
He was like the most progressive of the skinny people versus the fat... Like, he was the most progressive skinny person on the skinny team, because he was like, I think that the ultimate takeaway is that nobody should be made to feel bad for how their body is, because I've also been made to feel ashamed of how skinny I am.
That's like someone that's like ugly going to like a women's shelter and being like, no one ever hits on me. It's like, yeah, people hit on us and hit us. Could you leave?
Yeah.
Could you take your problems elsewhere? We're actually dealing with something right now.
So great about that environment is that it's like, for one, you've got people who are just saying the shit that you think, and nobody, and they have the.
You're ugly. Yes.
Finally, somebody has the guts to call that ugly person ugly.
What I think in this debate is, I will never fuck you.
I feel like acid and mushrooms are actually good for you.
Yeah, they are.
Like, they're just good for you.
Yeah.
Like, back in my early 20s, like, I did a lot of acid in my early 20s.
Do you want to eat a mushroom?
Right now?
Yeah.
No, because I have work in the morning. But I would like to, maybe this weekend.
Yeah.
Or, at least in the spring, I'd like to do a lot of mushrooms.
Yeah, I got him.
But I had when I was in my Buddhist cult, I met a lot of interesting hippies, and...
Don't tell me they did mushrooms.
They didn't not do them, but...
Yeah, Buddhist cult sounds like the epicenter, baby girl.
But there were, like... Some of them were, like, reformed hippies, kind of, and I met this one guy who was a psychologist, and I remember talking about... something came up about me doing acid, and he was like, you shouldn't do acid. You should never do acid. Do you know why? And he was like, they do brain scans. They've done brain scans of people on acid, and what happens in their brain is that your brain is like this, right? And then when you do acid, it's like those synapses come apart and then they come together in a new way. And I was like, yeah, man, that's when it feels like your brain is being fried like an egg, and that's the best part.
Yeah, it's also like
that's the best fucking thing for your synapses to come together in a totally new way.
That's the whole point of doing acid.
That's the point.
Is that you're taking all your shitty synapses that have no perspective, and just no imagination,
rooted
and are just rooted in shitty societal fucking bullshit. And then you take those synapses, they go like this, and then when they reconnect, they're actually good.
Yeah, then they're different. They're novel. They come together in a totally new, creative way.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you shouldn't go to the gym. I've seen people in the scans. Do you know what happens when you like work out in the gym? Like your muscles tense and then release and then come back. That shit is
tear. Then they heal, and that's what muscles are. So you gotta be careful. Don't work out. That's true. That is what that was like.
Yeah, it's like that's,
I was like, yeah, man, that's the reason.
That's the reason to do it. Yeah, also, it's like I don't want the synapses I had when I was 5. Yeah. I want these synapses. Yeah.
I want my brain to be totally rearranged like your room, you know?
Yeah.
But I think what was so gratifying about that was like he was doing this whole like meh, 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 meh thing. And I was thinking to myself, like, I always knew it. Like, because I could feel it. One time I took 3 tabs and they were big tabs. Like, and I had this experience when I was peaking where it literally felt like my brain was boiling. Yeah. Like, I was like, my brain turned into a lava lamp that was actually just boiling out of control. And I remember that incredible feeling in my head of just like, it was that feeling of everything coming apart and then coming back together and then coming apart and coming back together. And I was like, I'll never be the same. Hopefully I won't be crazy.
Yeah. I've had a few trips where I'm like, I really hope I come out of this trip as Paris still.
Yeah.
In some form, like some way.
Have you ever had a bad trip?
Not really. I had a couple that I put myself intentionally in the position to have a very challenging trip. Because I was curious. I'm like, I had only the best experiences. And I was like, I want to put myself in a danger, like, trip. And see what happens. It was fucking wild. It wasn't...
What was dangerous about it?
I was in Zagreb in Croatia in an abandoned building where a rave was happening, where you had to go through like 4 doors that they would buzz you in, which I didn't consider that that's the same way I have to leave. Because I left mid-trip because it got too much at some point. Because it was one of those...
Oh, that would bug me the fuck out if it was hard to leave.
That was the problem. That's the only thing I didn't count, was that I had to leave a place that I thought everyone that was there was trapping me there. So I had to leave a place that I think in the trip it feels like people are trying to hold me there. And now I have to go through 3 doors that I have to be buzzed out of. That was the only challenging part. No, it wasn't. It was... Most of the trip was super challenging because I was not on a big dose, but I took a half and then a quarter of a 220. So I was like at around 150, 180 micrograms, right? Like one dose, let's say, like one okay dose. But I was doing a lot of K because K and acid can be really, really fun.
I can imagine. I mean, everything is great with acid.
Yeah. So
there's literally nothing that acid's not good with.
Honestly. And so, but the thing with K that I hadn't really experienced before that way is that because I've done like 500 micrograms of acid and I'm coasting, but K is can be very psychedelic when you go deep into K, very obscure and confusing and architectural. So the second little, the quarter hit after like a couple of hours where I was already tripping, and now I went into a proper acid trip, and then the K created this vortex where I had this 7-hour trip that lasted 40 minutes, but I had the whole night passed, and I was going through the most insane part of the trip was that the action, so something happens, 45-minute trip of collapsing realities, space and sound. So the sound was following the space into weird architectural collapsing of the space in my brain. It was like this insane thing. And then 45 minutes later, it would return to that thing that just happened, meaning it was 1 second. So 1 second, one action could last 45 minutes into the past and the future and back into the past where it actually happened. And I would just see it happen and I would wake up in that moment, which is daunting because it's like when 1 second lasts 45 minutes, in that stretch of time where it was like 15, 20 minutes, I had like, that was a big part. I hope that registered into the mic. But that was so nice. It felt like a silent one, and then it really came out with sound. That was really delightful.
So you knew it was coming.
Yeah, I knew I was gonna fart, but 95% of my farts are silent. So,
I know.
So it's a surprise.
You know what's so funny is like how you. Sorry to interrupt your ketamine. Apocalypse, but
that was another one.
Like it's this, this movement where you just shift your weight so that it can escape the crevice of your ass cheeks. Yeah. And like I just do that all the time in public and I'm just amazed. I'm like, nobody's noticing the way that I'm positioning my pelvis strategically to
but I also did it like I was talking
out of my ass.
Oh yeah, I was talking to the mic like this, like I kind of did this like, let me pretend like I'm more engaged into my story.
Just engaged.
But yeah, so that was the super tricky part. And the way the trip started was funny because I was so used to doing big doses of acid that I was projecting things that I'm like, oh, I see that if I was on like more acid, then this would happen. But I'm not on a big enough dosage for that to happen. And then it would start happening. So I was like projecting things that I'm like, oh, I see where I am. If I'd taken more acid, this would happen. And then it would start happening. And I'm like, oh, maybe it has more power right now than I thought. And then at some point, I was like, I just saw someone that looked a little bit more skeletal. And I'm like, oh, what if everyone in here was a fucking like... And then everyone turned into like the undead for half an hour. So everyone was like... But God,
acid is so amazing.
So amazing. So I had a lot of those moments. And it's like, I enjoyed most of it. I had a ego death moment in it that was like I had to let go because it created such a tricky, because I was experimenting. I just wanted to see like how far will this go, because I'm just curious and I'm not really that afraid on psychedelics. I feel very safe.
Me too.
On psychedelics with the weirdest shit. So I was like, I kept kind of challenging myself and throughout the trip to just see, and then at some point it got too crazy and I kind of had to like let go of myself. Or it's this thing of like the more, if you put resistance, your brain starts like being too tense. So you feel like it's gonna rip. So I just kind of like closed my eyes and kind of went into this weird non-existence for a while. And then I came back. And when I came back, I had this feeling of like, I still had a few hours to go, but I had this kind of like, this is my window. It's like I had my ego death. I had all the weird bad trip things that I brought onto myself and I enjoyed. It's the window to go. I'm still tripping, but I feel like I don't want to stay longer here. Like I've already made everyone the antagonist here and I put myself in all these positions. It was very physically demanding. I'm like, I came to and I was like, okay, now we go. Still tripping, but like the walk will be nice. The fresh air will be nice. I need to get out. And I managed to walk out and get past all the doors. And I remember getting out and it's sunny. And it must have taken me half an hour to just take off a couple of the clothes I was wearing, put on some fresh clothes that I had, put on my sunglasses, just change, just like make myself comfortable. It was like a celebratory. It was almost like you were in my fucking dressing room and I was just like dolling out. Like I had this kind of like victory on me. I was like, I won this ride. Like,
well, yeah, because once you plateau, then you're like, I won.
Yeah, it's like
then you just get to enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I hadn't plateaued yet, but it was like it felt like I went through like 5 rounds of one of the most difficult video games of all time.
Right.
and I won. So I was like, I was still in the trip, but I was like, that was the difficult part. Now I'm just on a regular, me, myself, and I, and beautiful, sunny, whatever.
Well, that I think is what I mean. Like when you're coming up, that's when it's like really like, am I gonna stand, like be able to hold my ground through this? Like, am I gonna be able to surf the waves and all the, and then you kind of, after the peak, that's when you're still so very much on acid, but it's stabilized. Yeah. It's no longer just like this rocket ship.
Yeah, but it's also, to me, it was also like the decision of leaving that place and going out, because I was like on a, I mean, yeah, it was after all the peaks, I guess, but it's still like, it was still going very strong in there, but it was just like, the moment I left that space, it's like, because none of that would have happened if I was doing it by myself. It was that I put myself in this environment and made myself create this environment around me that's like very challenging. So the moment I exited, I was also like in this euphoric, I'm out of like, that like level. It was like a level. Yeah. So it was not so much about like the acid trip where it was in its temporal thing. It was just more that like, I'm out of the fucking dungeon.
Right, you're out of the
so it's like I have there's like 3 hours more till I fully plateau, but it's like that is done and now I'm safe. Like I won that round. Yeah. So it's like
the external challenge is over.
Yeah. And now I'm just on a bit of acid and the K has subsided. So I'm like, now I'm just on regular acid, regular Paris, all good. So it was also like this thing of like, I went past all the fucking trials and tribulations, and now I'm out, I won, and now I can enjoy my walk home in the sun. So it was like, yeah.
Man, that sounds so good.
So that was the hardest, like the most difficult trip, and it was also, dosage-wise, it wasn't even that high, but as far as like acid taking absolute control with the K and like creating a fucking proper insane thing, like that was the hardest one. I've done quadruple that amount or triple that amount, and I was super chill.
Should we end the podcast and we can just keep talking?
Yeah. Okay, this is the end of the podcast. Traditionally ending with an intense acid trip. Hey, we're back. I'll try to do more of these, and the Lazy Air podcast is going to be back. And yeah, now that I have my new room of torture and fingering, I don't know.
Torturous fingering.
But yeah, thanks to the 20 people that listened and watched.
When is this coming out?
I'll think I'll do a fixed date of them coming out, maybe like Tuesday or Wednesday.
Oh, okay, because I have a show on March 16th. Can I plug it?
Yeah, if you're in Berlin.
All right, if you're in Berlin, people, I'm doing a show with Abby and Sepida. They are two other dark female comics in Berlin. We're going to do long sets. We'll each do 25 minutes. It's called Bitch Circle.
Bitch Circle. All women doing comedy. Imagine that.
Yeah. Women are funny.
Yeah.
So
let's see how 3 of them fare. Yeah, and me and Sofia.
Each one darker than the last. Yeah. That means that I'll be first, then Sepida, then Abby. And I mean skin color.
Oh, yeah. It's a real beautiful, like, escalation. And yeah, and me and Sofia are going to do a double bill in April, probably. We're working on it. Always takes me 6 months anyway to get around anything. But yeah.
But if you like our chemistry, you'll love us
separately for a chunk of time. And if you're in London, I'm coming to London 6th to 17th of March. I have a place to stay. Yeah, but if you want to give me stuff in London, I'll be there. Thank you.